So my name is Chris Squires, as it says on there, Lead Supply Chain Engagement Manager for EDF Energy's Nuclear New Build Programme. So this morning I'm going to talk a little bit about EDF, quick introduction to the company for those who probably have never heard of us, but I'm sure there's not many here who've never heard of EDF. I'm going to talk a bit about Bradwell, a very little bit about Bradwell, a bit about Sizewell, and mainly about Hinkley Point C. So an update on where we are with Hinkley Point C and the challenges we face, and the opportunities that are there for companies potentially in the audience today. EDF Energy, one of the big six energy companies in the UK, much maligned, came into the UK through acquisition. So EDF is a French organisation, Électricité de France, French government owned largely. We came in through acquisition, initially through London Energy, but more recently through British Energy, and through that acquisition we now are the proud owners and operators of the UK nuclear fleet. So 8 nuclear power stations here in the UK, 15 reactors, but we also have other forms of energy production. So in total we produce about 20% of the UK's energy needs from our power stations. So we produce energy, we used to distribute it, we don't distribute anymore, we've sold that business, that's now UK Power Networks. And we also have our business to business and business to customers sales force. So if you look to the big six, we're number 5 in the big six in terms of domestic customers, about 5.5 million domestic customers. But we're the largest supplier to industry, so that's where most of our customer base is. So we supply the likes of Network Rail, Highways England, and so on and so forth. So a large portion of our sales comes from industry. I work for Nuclear New Build. So Nuclear New Build is tasked within EDF Energy to deliver 3 new nuclear power stations. I'll come on to those in a moment. And then we have other elements of our company who operate and maintain the existing reactor fleet. The group itself, French-based but operate globally, produce about 580 odd terawatt hours of electricity, so fairly large. We're the largest in the world in terms of nuclear generation. If you go across to France, we've got 57 nuclear reactors in France. 75% of the French energy comes from nuclear power. Here it's a bit less than 20%. So we're very into renewables, of which nuclear is one, and operates as a worldwide organisation. Here in the UK, focusing on nuclear new build, we have 3 projects we're looking at. We're working with a partner called CGN. CGN, China General Nuclear, are government owned in China. They operate a whole host of reactors and are building nuclear power stations in China. We've had a long-standing relationship with them for over 30 years. We know them, we trust them, we get on well together. And they're partners in our 3 projects. So they are a minor partner in Hinkley and Sizewell. Hinkley, they have a 33.5% stake, Sizewell a 20% stake. But they are the key stakeholder at Bradwell, where they have a 66.5% stake currently. So we work closely with them, and as you see on the map, we have plans to do 3 nuclear power stations. Hinkley Point C, which is currently underway, that's Hinkley Point C. Sizewell C, a replication of Hinkley Point C, but sat next to Sizewell B. And Bradwell B down in Essex, which is a different design reactor from CGM. So if we looked at Bradwell B, where are we on that project? Well, they intend to bring over the HPR 1000 reactor, which is a Chinese-based reactor. It's currently going through the GDA process, that's the Generic Design Assessment by the UK regulator. So why are the Chinese very keen to go through this process? We have probably one of the strongest regulators in the world, you'd be pleased to know. So we're all pretty safe here. They're incredibly stringent. And if China get the GDA reactor through, if China get their reactor through the GDA process, it's kind of a gold standard. So it means they've got better chance of selling it globally. And that's their aim. It's the same reason that Hitachi are putting their reactor through the process, and why the likes of KEPCO, who are looking at sites up in Cumbria at the moment from Korea, are also keen to bring their reactor technology into the UK. So we're going through the GDA process. It's a fairly long, stretched out process. It's 4 stages, and we're into about stage 3 at the moment. So it gets more and more detailed as you go through, and the regulator will look at all aspects of the plant itself from a safety point of view to make sure that he's satisfied that it can be built in the UK without any detriment